Looking to buy your new dream home in Portugal? Exciting, right? But then reality hits.
There is language barriers, confusing legal terms, a whole different process of buying here. It can be very overwhelming.
But what if we told you there's a new powerful AI assistant that can help you navigate this process like a pro, even if you're not a tech expert?
So stay tuned, because in this week's video, we are revealing how AI can be a game changer when buying property here in Portugal, or for any foreign country for that matter. Hi everyone, welcome back to Nations Without Borders. My name is Josine.
And I'm Eric, and together with our daughter Nora, we are the Nation family. We're an American and Dutch couple, and our daughter is technically Portuguese. She has a Portuguese passport because she was born here, and we've been living in Portugal for the past 3 years. However, when we're not being nomadic, traveling around the world, we are enjoying our family life here right in Lisbon and exploring all that Portugal has to offer.
Yeah, so every Sunday we publish a new video about family travel, remote work, or just our lives here in Portugal. And over the past few months, we've been on a mission to find our future family home.
It's been quite the adventure with plenty of challenges, and that's why we're making this video.
So if you're looking to buy property here in Portugal and you want to simplify the process and save yourself a lot of headaches, then this video is for you.
Learn how to use AI to turn yourself into a real estate hunting pro. Let's go. All right, so why are we making this video? What was the problem? Well, during the past few months, like we said, we've been searching for a home to buy, our future family home, and we encountered a ton of obstacles and roadblocks along the way.
Yeah, so if you think of it, there's basically two major things happening when you're searching to buy a house. It's like applying for a mortgage and everything that comes with it to get one. And then there's the whole process of buying a house and finding it and viewing it and all the processes there. Like, it's different from back home from what I know. And then everything is, of course, in a different language. Yeah, it's a lot.
It can be incredibly frustrating and overwhelming, especially if it's your first time buying a home in a foreign country, which not for her, but for me, kind of. My first time actually buying a home in general. So while I haven't bought a home in the United States, not yet, I've heard plenty of stories from my friends and I'm familiar with the process. So we've been using AI in our jobs because we run a digital agency and I work as a software engineer. So we're very familiar with the AI tools and processes, and we stay up to beat on that. So we're like, why don't we apply all these AI tools and leverage that to make the process of buying a home smoother?
It was really cool to watch because you set it up, you started using the tools in this house hunt of ours, and yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah, so what I did was, if you have used ChatGPT before, maybe you are, maybe you aren't familiar with that, there's a library or a catalog of GPT assistants that you can use. These are assistants that you can set up yourself, custom ones, or ones that are available to the public that other people have published. And I was like, maybe there's one for like Portuguese real estate. And sure enough, there was, set up by some firm who I'll put a link down in the description and I'll explain later when we do a demo, so stick around for that. But there was one that existed already. I was like, all right, let me give this a shot. So I started using it to translate documents and everything from the mortgage simulations we got from the bank to contracts to agreements to messages back and forth with the seller's real estate agent, from technical jargon. So it was super helpful because there's just a lot of new processes going on and it can be super overwhelming.
Yeah, and you can just ask all the questions that you're afraid to ask your real estate broker.
Yeah, and like the real estate agents here, bless their heart, not like ours is absolutely amazing,
yeah.
But even she is not a specialist in every single area. So when we had a question that we weren't sure if she would know the answer to or not, we would ask the AI agent and it would give us the most amazing, thorough answers. My mind was blown. I was like, holy smokes, this is a game changer.
Yeah.
It like honestly felt like just having your own personal real estate pro, multilingual assistant right there for you 24/7.
So if you're listening to us talk about AI and it's all going over your head, artificial intelligence has exploded in the last couple of years. We use it everywhere in our work, it's in our lives, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, and you've probably heard of some of its capabilities. It can create images, it can look up any information you want. It can even create movies now. Last week, AI had some pretty mind-blowing releases from Microsoft and Google and Anthropic. Like the movies it can create now, it can even add sound. So in terms of being able to understand every language on the planet, being able to translate documents, being able to translate contracts that come from lawyers, you can say, look at this contract from this lawyer, explain it to me like I'm 5, and it literally will do anything you want it to. So it's absolutely mind-blowing, the capability capabilities of AI, and it's moving at such a rapid rate, it's pretty scary, actually.
This sounds all very complicated and
Fancy.
But to use the tools that we're using in this video, you don't need to be a tech wizard. If you know how to Google something, you know how to use ChatGPT too.
Yeah, it's basically just typing in a chat interface or uploading a document, attaching files. If you can do any of that, then you can use these AI tools to help leverage searching for property in Portugal. Okay, so enough of us talking about AI. Let's jump into a demo so I can show you how to use the AI assistant to help you buy a home in Portugal. Let's go. All right, demo time. Let's go. Let's get into some fun here with GPT. So as I was saying earlier, we use OpenAI's agent, which is GPT. If you've been staying up to date with AI news whatsoever, or even the main news, you've probably heard of it before. I think it blew up probably around 3 years ago, when its first version came out, and it's crazy how time flies because it has advanced so much in the past couple of years. It's insane. But the reason that I use ChatGPT specifically for this use case in finding real estate in Portugal is simply because they have a library or a catalog of public agents that other people have already created. So often if you have a specific use case or AI agent that you want to use, chances are someone's maybe already built it. And a lot of the times they're free. So I would recommend going there, check that first. Here is the website, openai.com/ChatGPT, and you can get started now. There is a free version, which gives you actually lots of free features. I have the plus version, which is $20 a month, and that's because I use it for work and all sorts of things. I'm a heavy user, but you still can use custom GPTs with the free version. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And like we mentioned earlier, you don't have to be a tech wizard to use this. All you have to do is know how to type into a chat interface. So it's even easier than I would say Googling something. So let's go over where I'm logged in. Over here in the side window is your navigation bar where you have all your different tools, all your different agents. As you can see here, I've already created my own suite of agents. I have a content writer, I have Dolly, which is for creating images, a script writer, a full stack architect, global legal strategist, etc. And then I have our Portuguese real estate guide right here. So if we go right here, this was built by an entity called Digital Unipessoal. I probably didn't pronounce that right, but they built this agent, probably trained on whatever prompt they gave it or any data. If you hover over this, it says the builder of this GPT cannot view your conversation. So that's good. They have that privacy setting turned on. But disclaimer, be very careful and keep your data secure. If you have any sensitive or private data, I would recommend not sharing that with these AI agents just for security. But you can start a conversation with it and it gives you some default prompts here. This is where you type in the prompt if it's your first time using AI. Just to keep this short and sweet, let's go to the Portuguese real estate guide. This is my ongoing conversation. It's a very long thread because I've been using it for months now. Let's scroll up to the top so I can show you how I started. First, I was like, tell me about yourself. And then it says, I'm your expert guide to Portuguese real estate market. Whether you're looking for a home, investment, or commercial space, I can provide insights into the best areas, market trends, and lifestyle across Portugal, and it goes on. So pretty cool. When I first started using it, it was very basic. I was like, what are the main steps of buying a home in Portugal, and how is that different between here and the States? And then I gave it some context. I'm buying a residential home, primary residence, and we're looking to get a mortgage. And then boom, it gives me a very thorough answer, a step-by-step process with context and information for each step, and also the key difference between Portugal and the US for that step. So pretty freaking awesome. It gives you the entire process, and you can ask it to go into super detail. So if this was too summarized for you, you can be like, hey, I'm looking for even more detail. Give me an even more detailed process, and it will. After that, I asked it, what if I want to get a professional inspection before I make an offer and enter into the promissory contract? And then it does. And I said, also, give me an example of like some contingencies and stuff that I want to put in the CPVC contract, which is the promissory contract. Just for context here, when you're buying a home in Portugal, it is not common for buyers to get a professional technical inspection before you make an offer, which is just mind blowing to me. Like, how can I make a legitimate offer on the house that's fair when I don't know what's going on with the house. It blows my mind. It's a very seller advantaged market in Portugal. Like the buyer is at a disadvantage. So, it's more common for foreign buyers, especially from the States, to request a technical inspection because that is common in the States. That's like part of the process. So I was asking it questions all about that, getting the professional inspection, how to do it, who do you hire, what does it cost, and it gives me that information. And then it gives me information about protecting yourself in the promissory contract. So it gives me a list of examples, and then I ask it for what is the typical cost of a real estate lawyer, because you're going to need one. It gives me information about that. I'm asking who is usually responsible in drafting the CPVC, the buyer's lawyer or the seller's lawyer. So I'm literally asking it any question I want to, and it's very helpful. It's pretty amazing. Now, I ask it a whole bunch of other questions, but to keep this video short and sweet, just a little disclaimer here. You do have to take everything kind of with a grain of salt, It's obviously trained on all the data on the internet, but that's not to say all the content on the internet is accurate. So any information you get from AI, double check that with your real estate agent and with your real estate lawyer. But it gives you an amazing foundation of information, and you can ask it anything. Let's go down to the bottom here where I gave it an Idealista link. Idealista is kind of the equivalent to Zillow in the United States. It's kind of the go-to resource for searching for real estate listings and for sellers to also list their houses. So I gave it just a random apartment I found here in Ericeira, and I told it to give me a summary of it and tell me what is the market like in Ericeira. So it dives in, it gives a couple of images from the internet that it found. It gives me an overview of this particular property, location, design, amenities, and then it gives me just a brief overview of real estate market insights for 2025 as far as market trends, buyer demographics, and then also considerations for buyers. Now, I'm a little bit disappointed in this summary. Actually, usually it's much more thorough. So if I wanted to, I would go back in here and be like, hey, give me a longer report and more thorough analysis into the market insights, and give me some more insights into that property that might not be listed in Idealista. So yeah, that about wraps it up for what I wanted to show you that this AI agent can help you with, and just to show you some of the examples that I used it for. But yeah, let's go ahead and get back to Josine and continue the video.
Pretty amazing, right? It's like having a Portuguese mortgage and real estate expert on call.
All right, so let's do a quick recap. You can leverage AI to be your superpowered assistant in these key use cases and scenarios.
Number one, translation and understanding. You can easily upload any document in Portuguese and ask for a summary, for the highlights, things that you really need to know about, like alerted about, and all of that will be spit out in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, you can upload any file, PDF, text file, Word document. So for example, a 20-page mortgage simulation, to put that into Google Translate would be a pain. You can just ask it, hey, give me the summary and the highlights of this document, tell me all the important stuff, and it'll just spit it out in seconds. All right, and number 2 is process clarification. This is helpful because if this is your first time buying a home in Portugal, when you're going through the process, it's gonna be different than what you're used to in your home country. So everything from going to apply with a bank, to signing of the CPVC, to signing of the deed, making the offer, explaining like the rituals, all the little nuances. And we've gone through a couple processes where like, is this normal, or what's supposed to happen here? What's the next step in the process? And you just go and ask AI, and then boom, gives you the answer.
It could give you a step-by-step plan, basically. All right, number 3, decoding technical jargon. You can type in like, what is IMT, or what is fill in Portuguese term for whatsoever, and it will explain to you like what it all is. Now, I can hear you say like I can Google that too, but in this case, AI can also apply it to your situation. It can think with you about like, hey, this term has an influence on this process for you, or it will be this high or this amount. It gives you so much more information than all the Google results.
It gives context.
Yeah, and you can apply it right away.
All right, number 4 is using it for basic analysis and research. So let's say you're curious on a particular area, whether that be Porto or the Algarve or Albufeira or pick whatever area. You can ask it questions about that area, about real estate in that particular area, whether it's appreciation or home prices or whatever. Now this one gets a little bit more tricky because you're dealing with live data and numbers, and that information is not always easy to find in the Portuguese real estate market. I say this with a disclaimer on this part. Make sure you obviously consult with your professional advisors or consultants who can actually give you real data, or with Idealista. They have some really helpful charts and analysis you can go to analyze. So you can ask it questions about research such as this when you're exploring different markets and whatnot, but just be careful and double check the resources that it's giving you accurate information.
And with that, to add to that, you can also ask the AI agent to spit out questions that you should ask your lawyer, your real estate agent, your mortgage broker. Like, what are specific things that I should be asking?
That's a very good point, because part of the foundational skill of this is knowing the right questions to ask.
And the last one, number 5, is summarizing documents. Probably anywhere in the world, if you buy a house or property, you're dealing with a lot of documents that you have to hand over, but also what you're gonna receive. And if they're in a different language and they're 20 pages long, who's gonna read all of that? Honestly, it's a lot. So putting it into your AI agent, letting it translate, putting it into a summary, and then even bullet point it for all that. I care. I use it a lot to summarize anything that's longer than like a one-pager.
You know, one little hack that I like to use it for is when I'm reading a book, instead of me taking notes throughout the book separately, like when I'm doing a self-help book or personal development or whatever the case may be, technical book, I'll read the book, and then either at the end of each chapter or at the end of the book, I'll ask AI to summarize this book, take out all the keynotes, highlight it, put it into bullet points, and then I have that do that for me. So super helpful tool for that.
All right, so using AI in your property search here in Portugal or wherever is not about replacing human experience. You still need a mortgage broker, real estate agent, a lawyer, all of those.
But it is about empowering you. It helps you understand the information, ask smarter questions, be more confident and in control throughout the entire journey.
And as we said, you don't have to be a tech wizard to understand or use these tools. I can proudly say that my parents are using AI as well, ChatGPT, to like research stuff. They're not buying properties here. They're using it for other stuff, and it's really simple to use.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode. We know this video was a little bit different from the content we usually do.
But as we are going through this home buying process ourselves right now, and we know that this tool is very helpful, we just wanted to share it with you. And if you're at the stage that you need a real estate lawyer or agent, because you're gonna need one, reach out through our Instagram, through our website, or anywhere basically. We are happy to help and connect you to the team that we're working with.
Links will be in the description. And be on the lookout for future videos, because we're gonna kind of do a series on the home buying process here in Portugal as we come closer to finding our own future home. And if you found this video helpful or valuable at all, please do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, all the things, because it helps out the channel and helps us make more videos like this.
Thank you for watching, and remember, explore life beyond borders.
Adios.
Bye.